Have you ever heard of the Tale of Icarus? If you haven't, let me tell you about it real quick. The Tale of Icarus is about Icarus and his father Daedalus. Daedalus is a very skilled craftsman, but unfortunately for both of them, they were both imprisoned. Although, during their imprisonment, Daedalus used materials found across their prison cell and created a set of wings for both him and his son to escape. However, during their escape, Icarus kept flying a bit too close to the sun despite his father's warnings. And as a result, the wax off his wings began to melt, and Icarus fell to his death. See, the story kind of serves as the basis of the age-old saying, "Do not fly too close to the sun, or you will burn." um, and is a cautionary tale for those of us who are too ambitious, too far-reaching, or try to do things that are way out of our grasp. Although the creators of the Burj Khalifa basically threw this tale out of the window and created something that a lot of people thought was impossible. From a young age, I've always been interested in architecture. I grew up in Los Angeles, so whenever I'm in downtown, I always like to admire the buildings around me. And whenever I can, I like to do research on those buildings. And naturally, when I saw this assignment, the first thing that came to mind was the Burj Khalifa. I've always wanted to do more research in this building, and I use this assignment as an excuse to do that. During my research, I found a lot of cool things that I would like to share with you all today. A lot of you might think that the Burj Khalifa is just any other building, it's just a tall building, whatever, nothing special. But I beg to differ. This building is a monument to evolution and innovation that we thought was not possible in architecture. According to the Journal of Undergrad Research of Tennessee, published in April 2013, the advancements made during the construction of the Burj Khalifa actually paved the way as a stepping stone to advancing urban development and living standards, which, seeing as a lot of us come from cities, makes a big difference in our lives. So today I'm going to take you guys to new heights and talk to you about the concepts of the Burj Khalifa, the construction, and the future of the Burj Khalifa. Like any other structure, there needs to be a concept. In order to have a concept, you need a designer and an engineer. In our case, our designer is Adrian Smith and our engineer is William Baker. Smith grew up or was born in Chicago and went to university at the University of Illinois. After graduation, he had involvement in construction in the Jinmao Tower in China and the Central Park Tower in New York. Baker also went to the University of Illinois, and after his graduation, he worked on buildings like the GM Renaissance Building and the Pearl River Tower, which coincidentally were also projects under Smith. So these two have had a bit of a history with each other long before the development of the Burj Khalifa. So when these two came together to kind of brainstorm on what they wanted for the Burj Khalifa, Smith had a good amount of inspiration. But according to the Chicago Tribune, published in January 2020, his biggest inspiration was the Chicago Lake Tower. Chicago Lake Tower actually held the record for the world's tallest building for about 25 years, and similar to the Burj Khalifa, holds a similar Y shape to the building. Baker, on the other hand, was a little bit different. According to Civil Engineering, published in March 2020, his inspiration was a desert flower that grew exclusively in Dubai. See, Dubai wasn't really much of a big city at the time, or back then at least. It was a small fishing hub and didn't really have anything special about it. But after hard work and dedication, the economy blew up and became what it is today. So that desert flower is basically a testament to that growth of Dubai. So he wanted that to be a big inspiration for the building. So after going back and forth, they came across an agreed upon concept, and after that, construction finally began. So in order to build a building like that, there needed to be a strong foundation. And in order to do that, they need to do that on desert soil. But the problem is with desert soil, it's mostly sand. So if they were to do a 500,000 ton structure, it would simply sink or tilt over. So according to the Journal of Undergrad Research of Tennessee, published in April 2013, they had to create a unique foundation. So this foundation utilized many layers of concrete, and below those layers were pillars that went all the way past the sand down to sedimentary rock. And as a result, that sedimentary rock placed a really strong foundation that prevented the building from sinking or swaying. With the foundation in place, they were able to start the actual structure. And their issue with that was the winds in Dubai. The winds in Dubai are actually pretty strong. So if they were to build a tower that went high up, it would simply tilt over. So what they did was, if you look at my visual aid here, they utilized the Y-shaped pattern in the foundation, and as a result, this provided multiple forms or points of contact that would prevent the building from tipping over. And if you look closer here, there are multiple layers to the building. So what this does is that when the wind hits these layers, it actually spirals up, and prevents the building from getting the full brunt of the wind. So with that being out of the way, they were able to start building and building and building. And according to National Geographic Extreme Explorer, they had to utilize, published in April 2016, they had to utilize multiple cranes. These cranes brought multiple materials up and up on the floors. So they build one crane, probably like on the 40th floor, finish that floor, and then start building up and up. And unfortunately, they ran into issues like transporting concrete. So what they had to do was utilize new forms of concrete pumping, and would go similar to the cranes. They would go from floor to floor to floor. So with that out of the way, construction kind of was a breeze after that. And after some time, construction was finally finished in 2010. So what does the future hold for the Burj Khalifa? Well, some greenlit projects, according to the Nation Pakistan, published in December 2024, they were going to add new lights to the structure, similar to the ones at the White House, where they have, I don't know if you've seen the one with Prince, where they lit the White House purple. It will be similar to that, and it should actually finish construction sometime this year. They also plan to renovate the elevators. So these are actually very important, because this building is about 160 stories tall. And these elevators need to travel fast. So with these new elevators, they're going to be able to travel about 10 meters per second, which is absolutely crazy. They also have proposed structures regarding the Burj Khalifa. According to Khaleej Times, published in August 2022, they would add a 500-meter superstructure that would surround the Burj Khalifa. And in this superstructure, it would house homes, businesses, parks, and pretty much everything what a city would have. Although it's been postponed due to other projects kind of going on in the area, such as the Line. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that. It's kind of very similar. It would house homes, businesses, parks, all that kind of stuff. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could be built. So today, I talked to you guys about the concepts of the Burj Khalifa, the construction process, and what the future holds for the Burj Khalifa. So if anyone ever tells you that it's flying too close to the sun, or it's a slowly roll, just remember the Burj Khalifa, as it stands as a literal monument to define what is possible